welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to step through my top 10 McCall's patterns from my stash. I probably have around about 15 to 16 McCall's patterns, and the majority of my top 10 are actually dresses because that's what I've made the most of in my sewing journey. I set out with the goal to make lovely flowy swishy dresses, and I have definitely done that. I do have some others in here that I haven't made yet, but we'll get to them when we get there. So number 10 is the McCall's M7900, and it's a lovely blouse pattern. I have started the mock-up for this one, but I haven't actually made a final blouse. I think this is going to be so adorable, especially for like a nice casual button-up. I have a couple of cottons in my stash that I would love to make into blouses, and it's one of the things I'm trying to make more of, progressing away from dresses and into separates, specifically blouses. I love that this one has a couple of options. View A has some lovely like frilly capped sleeves, and view B is more of like the puff sleeve look, which is pretty in at the moment. Finding that a lot of my blouses are coming out too short because my torso is a little bit longer than the standard torso. So I'm hoping with a bit of tweaking, this one will fit wonderfully and I'll have another great blouse pattern. Number 9 in my McCall's pattern stash is M7845, which is a lovely pattern for a skirt. I particularly love view D, which is this frilly kind of, looks like a wrap skirt but isn't. Has a lovely flounce. I think it would look really nice, especially with a black long sleeve top like they have in the picture. I haven't had the mental fortitude to fit a skirt like this in a while. I've had a couple of failure projects, and I think I just need like a good sewing day to be able to knock this one out. Fitting my lower half is one of my sewing insecurities, and I struggle a lot with it. So I really want to try this one out, but I'm a little bit anxious to see how it'll fit. Number 7 is the McCall's M7627. And I've made the top of this one before. So I think I made view A for a friend of mine, but the tie on this is like comically long. It is so big. I don't understand why they make it so large. I guess so you can make a big bow, but it really does not need to be that big. It adds a lot of bulk to your waist as well, which I don't really like. I would love to make view C one day or view B, depending on what fabric it was. This one's kind of like, whenever I go to make it, I can always find another pattern that I think I'd like to make more. From what I've heard online, it's a good wrap dress pattern, and I want to tackle it one day, but yeah, it's on my list. I like it. I'm kind of undecided about the tie, but I can always adjust that in my version. And I made that version for a friend. Number 6 on the list is McCall's M7081, which is this lovely swishy dress cut on the bias. I believe it's cut on the bias anyway, or it's a circle skirt. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, skirt cut on the crosswise grain, which makes it drape really nicely. I love view B for this dress, just like the pattern that they have, and the fabric in that view looks adorable. I just don't have anywhere I would wear this, if it makes sense. So I always go to make it and think, oh, I could make like a casual summer dress or something like that, and then it just doesn't stick. The project doesn't like capture me enough. But I think one of these days I'll get around to doing view B or view D, actually. They're a close tie. I love the idea of like a contrasting band on the bottom, especially with such a big full skirt. But yeah, that's that one. The next one, number 5 on the list. Okay, I can't count apparently. This is number 6. So number 6 on the list is McCall's 8101. Somewhere in March, I went on this massive jumpsuit kick, and I went ahead and made a different one that's coming up, and also bought this pattern. I really love the idea of view C. However, again, fitting my lower body is a bit of a challenge usually, and I would have to make a full mock-up, and just the like effort to entry there has stopped me from making this pattern. I think I will though, because I really like the cup bodice. So if I can get that to fit nicely, I could even make it a crop top or a corset top, you know, if it fits well, because it's got the 2 cups, but we'll see. I'll probably start with view A and just see how that goes. But view C would just look, you know, gorgeous with wide leg pants. I think that would be really nice. That's number 6. Number 5, which I hinted to earlier, is M8119, and this is the jumpsuit that I made up when I was in a bit of a jumpsuit kick. I didn't like it. I didn't like the fabric I chose. The pattern fits really well. There's a little bit of extra fabric at the back, but I think that could be easily fixed just with a bit of a fitting adjustment. I love the style. It definitely needs a belt. So this one definitely needs a belt, which the one that I have, I'm kind of like on the fence about whether I should just hem it and call it a day and live with the fact that it's quite a loud jumpsuit, or find someone in my size that would like it. But yeah, it was really easy to make up. The fitting wasn't too bad. It actually fit pretty well. And it's got a lovely wide leg, or straight leg. Straight leg? Yeah, a lovely straight leg cut, and it's very flattering. I just made it out of a fabric that once you put it all over your body is like too much. Okay, the next one is the McCall's M626, which is again a combination of a jumpsuit and a dress pattern, and I made a mock-up for this one that didn't end up fitting me, but I really liked the construction of it. And then I also made a dress for my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law's fiance. What is that to me? My sister-in-law? Anyway, I really wanted to make a pinstripe version of View D, but after seeing the mock-up, I think for what I wanted it's kind of like a too casual of a pattern to put with like a really formal fabric. It would have to be something just chill, or you'd have to wear do some layering, like a long sleeve turtleneck, or a white top underneath. That would be great as well. This one I'm kind of on the fence about after making it and then making a mock-up as well for myself. I need to make a size bigger in the bottoms, or at least really carve out the crotch curve, so there's more room in the back. Other than that though, it's a great little pattern. It's actually pretty easy to make up because the bodice isn't really, it's just got the one dart, or the two darts, sorry. And then there's a lovely little belt that comes with it, and yeah, it's pretty nice to make. I would probably recommend using like a twill or something thin. I did a corduroy when I made it for my sister-in-law, and it came out okay, but it was a little bit bulky in places and sort of hard to fit. So yeah, a twill or a cotton like canvas would work really well with this. Okay, coming in next is the McCall's M7994, and this is a learn to sew pattern that I picked up in a magazine, and I love this dress. I made View C in black. I made it early on in my sewing journey, I suppose, and I didn't fit the arms right, so after wearing it for like a year or two, when I would lift, the lining tore, and I ended up not fitting in it anymore because I put on some weight. Other than that though, it was a really lovely dress, and I would love to make it again. Especially I made it out of a black cotton suiting fabric, and it just looked so chic and lovely. I would probably end up making View B next time instead of View C, even though View C was really flattering. I think I like the looser skirt, just much easier to move around and like comfier. But yeah, it's a really easy to follow pattern. I managed to do a fully lined dress like very early on in my sewing, so the instructions are really clear, and it doesn't take too much fabric depending on which view you make. So yeah, all around a lovely little dress, especially for the office or for like a more formal event. Now we're getting into the top 3 patterns, and these are all patterns that I absolutely love. So starting with M7084, which I didn't think I would like as much as I did. I made View A, I believe, or View C. I made a sleeveless version of View C, and at the time I didn't really think much of it. I didn't do a mock-up. I cut it out of embroidered cotton from Spotlight that wasn't very good quality, and I really loved how it turned out. I really didn't expect it to be this good. I made it with absolutely no expectations, and I made it just kind of on a whim, and it turned out so well. I've worn it so much, it's getting worn out now, so I think it's high time I make another one. I just don't know what fabric to make it out of. It is quite fabric hungry from what I remember. Oh no, 4 meters, yeah, I suppose just over 4 meters for View D, which is the one with the most fabric, but it's lovely. It's just a lot of cutting. There's so many pieces to this dress because the panel is made up of straight pieces and gored pieces all put together. The skirt is made up of panels of straight pieces and gored pieces. Then there's a button placket and the collar pieces and the bodice pieces. So it's a bit of a puzzle, a bit of a game of Tetris to cut out everything, but it does turn out really lovely in the end. I recently cut a version out of like a purple synthetic fabric that I got from the sewing layer, and I don't think it's going to work as well. You really need like cotton or something that isn't going to be slippy, because you have to connect so many different things, so it just gets a bit difficult. Number 2 in my list of McCall's patterns is M7971. Another one of these dresses that I just kind of made without really thinking about it and turned out really, really well. It's really flattering. I made view D when I made it, and it's gorgeous. I love everything about it. I have no complaints. It fits wonderfully. Actually, I lie. I have one complaint. In the back, it tells you to connect the back pieces with snaps, I believe. Notions. Yeah, okay, hooks and eyes, which will never stay closed. Like, literally never stay closed, because your back, you're moving all the time. Every time you reach for something or bend over, it'll pop open. So I ended up replacing them with ties, and that has worked wonderfully. It's flattering and it looks nice. I don't know, I have so many nice things to say about this dress. I didn't put pockets on it, and yeah, it was really easy to sew up. I made it out of a rayon. It wasn't an absolute failure like my previous rayon project. So yeah, I really, really like this dress. I will probably make a lot more now that I think about it. And number 1, the piece de resistance, M6953. This is a McCall's easy sew or easy range. I love it. I've made 5 of them. I think my favorite one is my sunflower dress, which you can see on my Instagram if you were one of the OG subscribers. It wasn't made well, but I loved making it, and it was really easy to do, and it fit out of the box just like that. I've made a black version, I've made the sunflower dress, I've made one for 2 different friends, so like 4 dresses total. It's great. It's a lovely, lovely dress, and I cannot wait to make more of them. Yeah, really easy. I think it's fully lined, or a lined bodice at least. Yeah, a lined bodice, lovely pleated skirt, which give you that swishy feeling that you need. I originally made it, when I made the sunflower dress, it's a layer of linen with a layer of cotton because in the skirt, because the linen was a little bit see-through, and that really helped those pleats like sit really nicely, and it's really flattering. It's the first time I had a pattern where the bodice closes at the shoulder though, and I really don't recommend doing it that way. The instructions ask you to leave the shoulders to the last. I would do that way up front and like pull the back through the front, or the front through the back, so that the shoulders line up really nicely and you don't have like a weird seam there. Because sometimes if you don't line up your pieces perfectly, at least you can push the awkwardness into the side seams and it's not as obvious, as opposed to pushing the awkwardness into the shoulders and having like extra pieces and stuff hanging around, which is not ideal. So when you fit the bodice, when you make the markup, I recommend cutting the shoulder pieces to fit nicely so that you can use the side seams as where you close it up. And then that's it. That's my top 10 McCall's patterns as they stand today. A lot of them I haven't made, which makes me really excited. I kind of want to get stuck into it and make a few of them, especially that blouse. Even though I had it down on my list, I'm trying to make more blouses, and it is pretty dang cute. I reckon there's a view A in my future, or a B. I just need to make a mock-up for it first because I really want it to fit well, and I have some really nice fabrics, so I don't want to waste them. That's it for today. If you liked this video, if you would like to stick around and watch me make some of these projects, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload new videos every month, sometimes 2, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!